Good afternoon. I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for streaming with us. We are following the latest on the war in Ukraine as a senior U.S. official tells ABC that indiscriminate bombing from Russia will only get worse. Ukrainian President Zelensky gave a passionate plea to more than 300 members of Congress today. In an hour-long call, Zelensky asked for more military aid and for a full ban of Russian oil imports into the U.S. Before that call, Zelensky said Ukrainian forces are still holding the line on all key fronts. He claims more than 10,000 Russian troops have been killed in the war so far. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin is responding to Zelensky's calls for a no-fly zone over Ukraine. Putin says that he would consider any countries that impose a no-fly zone over Ukraine as taking part in the conflict. This comes as Ukrainian officials say Russia broke a promised ceasefire in the country's port city of Mariupol, despite agreeing to temporarily stopping heavy shelling so that civilians could escape. We're also learning that WNBA player and two-time U.S. gold medalist Brittany Griner is reportedly being detained in Russia for allegedly having vape cartridges in her luggage at the Moscow airport. Griner plays for the Phoenix Mercury. The WNBA says their main priority is her swift and safe return to the United States. But we begin with the more than 1.3 million Ukrainians who have been forced to flee their homes since this invasion started. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees says more than half of those refugees are in neighboring Poland. One woman was getting ready to marry the love of her life, planning their wedding. But instead of getting to kiss him at the altar 1 week ago, she kissed him goodbye at the border. ABC's Phil Lipoff is in Poland with her story.
It's women, it's children.
Oksana and her two children, Vlad and Anastasia, crossed the border days ago. They made it to this hotel in Lublin, welcomed by a country that opened its border and its heart, something Oksana says is the reason they are alive.
I've been crying to all the world.
She has been crying for days, relieved her children are safe, but terrified for her husband and Anastasia's fiancé still in Ukraine.
To the Polish people, I want to say thank you very much for the man who helps to Ukrainian women, to Ukrainian children, to all Ukrainian people with the food, with clothes, with nappies to the children, with the food to the small babies. And the Polish is the first country who opened their home, who opened the door to our children, to our women to be safe.
The trauma of the last 2 weeks bringing Oksana to her knees, but she's not begging for mercy. She's thanking the country that gave it to her without being asked. The Polish people saying, you're safe here for as long as you need to be. We understand. We understand. Anastasia was due to be married just after the fighting began. Now separated from her fiancé, he's in their town taking incoming fire from the Russians. Her phone is her only connection to him and the terror he is facing daily. She installed an app on her phone that alerts her to air raid sirens back home.
Basically, this is how it looks. So, for example, green light means that the alarm went off and you can get out. And if you receive a red one with a huge noise on it, it means that please hide and stay safe.
Every time you hear that here in Poland, you worry about people back in Ukraine.
Yeah, I send messages. Are you in a shelter? Are you okay? What's going on?
Safe from explosions here in Poland, but not from what she has seen and heard and what she still fears.
I hear noises which remind me of bombs or guns or whatever. I wake up and I still don't understand that I'm in Poland, I'm safe, nothing can happen to me.
And Phil Lipoff joins me live now from Lublin, Poland.